Well, this is the inside of the stereo Pi, and you can see it's quite an elaborate affair. You can also see for yourself how much of a mess it was, because everything had just gone to goo when I had this, and yeah, it'd been necessary to clean everything out. Ideally, those brushes want cleaning with sugar soap, but they're not actually in contact with the belts. Quite an ingenious setup. The motor is here, and you can see there at the top what appears to be a motor pulley. Well, that's for use on 60 cycles. What you do is to undo this, undo the grub screws either side of the pulley, withdraw the pulley, drift an end cap out, turn it up the other way, so that the small one is now driving the belt instead of the big one. The one I've got, of course, is for 50 cycles, as you would expect in Europe, and then the rest of the mechanicals will run at the right speed. Quite an ingenious setup. This rubber tyre here had just gone to complete goo. There was just nothing left, and all I could do was to judge more or less how big it had been from where it is. And you can see that that operates the fast forward when you put it into and then below is the one that does the take-up spool. Now, the brakes on this were always a bit of a problem. Phillips have done something clever up here by the look of it, but it was well and truly worn out. So the spring too that tensions this plate, which applies the brakes, was also in a bad way. So I fitted another spring, and then on here glued two tiny bits of rubber that just rest on the side of the real turntable there. You're seeing she won't move. She will move to put a tape on it, but it won't go spewing tons of tape all over the place. I had a look on eBay, just out of interest, for one of these little idlers here, this rubber tyre. Do you know they want about £30 for that? I made one out of tyres that came from old video machines, I believe it was, those big old things that they used to have. The long belt here is also spinning a drive for the flywheel that lurks underneath here, driving the capstan. The speed change is an ingenious arrangement that derails the belt from one pulley to another. A bit like some bicycle gear changes. Well, it is Phillips and they were Dutch. Well, this particular set was actually made in Austria, though. You can just about see the two monitor speakers inside, one there and one there. And despite being fairly small, they do sound pretty good. It's quite easy to dismantle this thing as well, which is good. But yeah, what a job. Rewind is accomplished by simply pushing this pulley against the real turntable here, and then away it goes. But another thing that the goo does, and old grease doesn't help, is to inhibit all the free movement of the various parts inside the mechanism. So very important to get rid of as much of that crappy stuff as you can, be it old grease or especially that gunge. If you can, don't leave any in there, because it's a pain. As with most Phillips kit, there's a circuit diagram included in this, and it's all folded up in there. So yeah, having got this thing to run properly again, it's quite a nice feeling, because it does sound good. And certainly now I know what I know about the motor pulley, if I end up going to America, this thing will certainly be coming with me. Now, when you push fast forward, see the little spring-loaded brush drops down there. And what that does is to provide a little bit of tension on the tape so that it spools nicely and doesn't have any voids, which can result in a whip back and snap tape and all that sort of thing. But yeah, got nice snappy action mechanics now, the way it should do. So yeah, there's nothing too much to be afraid of with one of these. It looks more intimidating than it is. And let me put it this way, fiddling about and getting this thing going was very satisfying indeed to do. And so many of these ended up in landfill tips, I imagine. It's a shame. You put the top back on, engage the lugs, and then that's that. And the head cover fits on there and is held on by one of these star pointed screws, strange screws. This old record deck's got the same thing. There's one from the Pie. Anyway, so yeah, yes, looking and sounding very good. Anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. See you soon.